Welcome. If you're watching this video presentation, you are more than likely going on a HBCU tour with Project Alpha originating from Phoenix, Arizona. If you're not going on the tour and watching this video, hopefully there will be information in here that you can take and learn from and help you with your college decisions. Hi, I'm Doug Dozer. I am currently a committee member on Project Alpha's HBCU Tour Committee, and I've been working with the tour for the past 3 years with Brother George Charles and other members of the fraternity. I've also had a career in education, about 30 years, mostly in academic advising, and I'm currently a student services analyst at Scottsdale Community College. But what I would tell you is don't listen to just me. Never listen to just one person as they're giving you advice and information. You also want to solicit experiences and advice from other people that are important in your life, whether that's parents, clergy, mentors, professionals, and others. I'm just one perspective, and I'm giving you this presentation kind of with what I've learned and picked up over my career in education. Again, in making your own decision, you definitely want to make informed decisions with your college choices. You want to do your own research and seek input and discuss with others, but formulate your own plan. So again, going to college and the college choices, it's definitely something that you have to live with and learn from in the future. So your parents, family members, teachers, clergy, your mentors, they may be with you in spirit and be there to give you advice, but they are not going through that college experience with you. But again, you want to rely on those folks to help you in making your informed choices. One of the key things in making informed choices is knowing yourself and your own personal identity. The key thing is definitely knowing who you are. To help figure out who you are and to help kind of know that, it's a good idea to take some personality interest surveys. Basically, when you take those, you want to answer for who you really are, not the person that you want to be. So again, there's several different personality tests you can take online. You can take in consultation with a counselor at your high school, maybe even at your local community college. And also realize too that identities will shift. So you may have a certain identity while you're a high school student, but that can and will probably shift while you're in college. So once you get into that new college environment, things change. Your identity can definitely shift. In high school, your identity might have been around academics. It might have been around being an athlete. When you go to college, it could shift from being the athlete to being a more academic-minded individual. So again, keep in mind as you're making those informed choices, though, the key thing is about knowing yourself and your own identity and having a great sense of who you are. All right, so now what I want you to do is just take a few minutes, and you can even write this down if you want to, is to think like why you want to go to college. Like, why do you really want to go? What's your purpose for going to college? So take a few seconds, think about that, have some ideas in your mind, write them down if you want to, and then we'll go from there. All right, now that you got your reasons for why you want to go to college, probably most of you put your number one reason was to get a job or career. Realize too that there are other reasons to go to college. One is to have fun with the experience. That doesn't mean to have so much fun that you drop out or not do well. But again, part of that college experience should be to have some fun. Other reasons, maybe to meet a future significant other, definitely to get away from parents, and definitely to get away from home. Oftentimes it's just good to get out of the community and the folks that you've grown up with and lived around and have an experience outside of that as you form your adult identity and you move forward in your life. One of the biggest misconceptions is that college is job training. College is definitely not job training. Very few majors train you to do a specific job. There are a few exceptions. Nursing is one of those exceptions, accounting, engineering, and maybe education, but maybe not education either. Your major will tend to give you a worldview. Again, you'll learn the academics, you'll learn like the history of business, you'll learn maybe marketing techniques and theories. From a history class, you will learn cause and effect. But again, your major tends to give you a world view. So a history major is going to view the world different than a business major, and an engineer is going to view the world totally different from both of those. So again, keep in mind the big thing about your major, it's going to shape how you view the world that you live in and experience. The key thing to remember too is that internships and your experience with the degree will give you your job and career. So your major by itself is not going to be enough. That is not going to give you the career. So again, you need to think internships and your whole experience, and previous work experience as well, are what's going to give you that career that you want in the future. However, having said that, your college and major are definitely going to influence and give you a job and career direction. So a couple things to think about, again, as you're choosing a college, as you're looking at majors and things like that, is to kind of think about how much money do I need to make to pay for the lifestyle I want. So if you really like fast, expensive cars, what kind of a major or job is going to lead you to pay for those things? If you know you want to live in New York or Los Angeles, California, the cost of living in those places are very high. So again, you need to start thinking about, okay, how much money and how does that career relate to financial reward based on the lifestyle I want and the places that I want to live? Again, will my college major lead me to that kind of money? So think about that. So again, if you major in philosophy and you want to teach social studies at a local high school, you might not be making a lot of money. So again, think about that, how it weighs into your choices for your future. Other things to think about are what type of work environment do you want? Do you want to work behind a desk? Are you happy in a cubicle working on your own? Do you need to work with people and social interactions to motivate you and help you to thrive in your work environment? So again, all those things are things to think about as you're moving and integrating your major, your career choice with your experience, with your college choice as well. So everything I've said is really kind of leading up to this slide. So you want to think of college as your pre-professional experience. So it's not just the classroom, it's not just the education. So you want to think of everything you're doing in the next 4 to 5 years as that pre-professional experience. So a piece of that is the degree in your major. The other piece is the network you can achieve. Again, that network means connecting with professionals that can help you get your first job or mentor you into your first job, or whatever you want to do. Also, that includes your experience in internships. So if you're working while you're going to college, think of that as your pre-professional experience. So if you want to be in the health field or medical field, maybe a job going to college working at Jimmy John's delivering subs is not the best experience for you. So you want to think of your work experience while you're in college as part of that pre-professional experience. So again, work at a local hospital, work at a local volunteer organization that maybe is applying to your career choice. And again, those internships are key to that as well, to get you a future job. Also, campus involvement outside of the classroom and leadership development. So if you want to be involved in campus organizations, if you want to be involved in leadership development, those are definitely things to develop outside of the classroom. When I was a pre-law coordinator at Arizona State University, I remember having a discussion with the dean of a law school, and he was telling our law students that you didn't really need to have extracurricular activities in the field of law, that he wanted to see students have extracurricular experience in what they were passionate about. So if they were passionate about the Humane Society, he wanted to see students being in the Humane Society student organization and taking that to their full potential. So again, that campus involvement outside of the classroom needs to be something that you're passionate about, that you can develop leadership in, that you can go on and be maybe an executive in that organization your junior or senior year. You're not looking for campus involvement just to check a box off and put a line on your resume. If it's on your resume in the future, you need to be able to talk about that experience extensively with a potential employer in an interview situation. Again, part of this pre-professional experience idea is you must graduate ready to be fully employed. Every year, doesn't matter what year it is, 40 to 50% of college graduates are underemployed. In other words, 40 to 50% of college graduates every year end up working jobs or getting jobs that does not require a college education. Most of those graduates, I guarantee, are students that just went to class and got the degree and went home, that they didn't do internships, they didn't have on-campus experiences and things like that. So again, think of college as your pre-professional experience. I can't overemphasize that enough. Okay, a little advice I wish I had when I started college is, number one, don't be so future-oriented that you miss out on the present. So enjoy and embrace the process. I know sometimes it's very easy in our culture to get focused on, okay, when I graduate, I'll have a great job and it'll be great, or I'll have a spouse that I really love. And so sometimes we get so future-oriented that we just don't enjoy the present and the process. So realize that your college is going to go by quickly. College days do swiftly pass. So realize that and enjoy that process while you're going through it. So I wish I'd had that advice when I went into college. Also, at the end of each semester, walk away knowing you did the best you could have done in each class. Kind of with that sports leave it on the field mentality, you will not be a C student, I guarantee. So you never want to finish a semester thinking, oh man, if I wish I would have just studied a little bit harder in that calc class, I could have got an A. Having said that too, if you studied as hard as you could and the best you did and the best you could do in that calculus class was a C, then you need to be able to leave feeling, hey, I did the best I could possibly do in that class. But again, if you have that mentality through college, you will not be a C average student, guaranteed. Additionally, what I always tell college students is, even if you think you're doing well in a class, go to tutoring before that first test to make sure. I don't know how many times I hear from students in an academic advising session is, I was doing great on the homework, I thought I knew this stuff really well, and then I failed the first test. So again, even if you think you're doing well, go to a tutor before that first test just to make sure and confirm you know the material. Take the time and the effort to get the degree that you really want. So sometimes students get in a hurry. I know when you're 18 years old, an extra year, an extra semester seems like forever. But if it takes an extra semester to really get that marketing degree or to really get that engineering degree, take the time to do that. When you get to a later part in your life, maybe when you're 40, 50 years old, looking back, that extra semester or extra time or extra effort that you put in to get the degree you really wanted will actually mean nothing. Okay. Also, most of what you'll learn will be outside of the classroom. So getting along with people, working with difficult people, doing group projects, time management, all those crucial skills that will make you a great professional and successful after you graduate are things you're really going to learn outside of the classroom. Also, I kind of joke about this, but you probably won't meet your significant other or a bar or a party. Kind of wish I would have known that going into college. It's very true. Now, having said that, there's going to be some parent or somebody listening to this presentation that's going to say, "Hey, I met your mom and dad at a party." But again, most people, that is not the case. Now I want to shift a little bit and talk about the cost of college. Now, I am not a financial aid expert. I don't claim to be. So again, this is more of a big picture of the cost of college and some things to think about. So I think the key thing is if you're going to college and you're committing to going to college and you get there that first semester, you have to have the mentality of I will finish. College is way too expensive not to finish. You don't want to spend a couple years of college, drop out with $40,000, $50,000 worth of debt, and not have a college degree to help propel you into a job to pay for that debt. So again, have the mentality that I will finish when you go in. FAFSA is the federal form for financial aid. The priority deadline for that, and this is for parents and students, is the March 1st prior to the year starting college. Now, the earlier the better. So also, I would say submit a FAFSA even if you plan on not taking out any loans, because colleges will use that FAFSA to see if you're eligible for any grants or eligible for work study as well as those loans. So even if you're not going to take the loans, fill out your FAFSA because you may make you eligible for a scholarship that you had no idea of. So again, and that priority deadline is March 1st. So if you start applying later than that, the financial aid money pot becomes smaller. And I believe you can apply as early as October, but typically you want the previous year's parents' tax information when you apply. Also, each college will evaluate financial aid packages differently. So while one college may give you X amount of money, another college may actually give you more money. And it can also be different depending on the cost of each college. So keep that in mind too, because each college will have different tuition scholarship options, also based on ACT, SAT, class rank, and etc. So I guess what I'm saying is when you're looking and choosing between colleges, you'll find things that will give you the cost of attending that college. And so don't be shocked initially by that sticker price, because that sticker price could be alleviated depending on the financial aid package they give you, scholarships they give you, and other things like that. I know for myself as a student, I just made the assumption as a first generation college student that going to in-state would be cheaper than going to out-of-state. That is not necessarily the case. I went to an in-state school in Illinois. It was the cheapest college in the state. But later I found out that I probably could have paid out-of-state tuition at Arizona State University or University of Arizona and paid approximately the same amount of money I paid to stay in-state in Illinois. So again, keep that in mind and just be careful of the assumptions that you make when you're looking at the cost of college, and look at those financial aid packages. And when you apply to colleges, apply to several and have your FAFSA sent to several different colleges to shop around. Another true story with my wife's cousin. She had submitted an application to Pepperdine where she really wanted to go, and they came back with a financial aid package for her. And just based on that package, she wasn't going to be able to afford to go to Pepperdine. She contacted their financial aid office, and they had some discussion, and they were able to adjust some things based on her father's job situation. and she ended up getting a financial aid package that was doable for her. And she eventually graduated from Pepperdine and is doing great. So realize too that that financial aid package may be flexible, or it could possibly even change. The other thing I would say is the goal is to graduate with as little debt as possible. Oftentimes the colleges will give you more financial aid than you need. But again, keeping in that mind with that goal is to graduate with as little as possible. You know, that Starbucks Frappuccino may cost $6 now, but if you pay for it with your student loan, that might end up of costing you $10 over the next 20 years. Same thing with, you know, iPhones technology. So realize if you're going into debt and paying for some of that stuff with financial aid money, it's going to cost you a lot more in the long run. Another thing to consider is your total college debt versus your income potential. Oftentimes when you're going to college, especially for first generation college students, it's very easy to kind of sign any paperwork they give you and commit to college debt without really having a big picture or thinking about it. So you always want to weigh your college debt versus your potential income. So again, if I wanted to pay to go out of state, to go to the University of Illinois from Arizona, but I wanted to be a history teacher, my college debt might be something that I could not afford to pay on a high school teacher salary. So again, weigh that, think about that, and consider that. Will my major or career choice allow me to pay my student loans, bills, etc.? So again, that's another thing to look at. So when you're looking at that total cost of college, look at your potential income after graduation and your career choice and kind of think, okay, am I able to pay the debts that I accrued while I was in college for 4 years? So again, things to think about. So weigh that total cost benefits of attending your college of choice. So again, there may be benefits beyond education, like networking and things like that, of attending the college of your choice. In other words, if you can get into an Ivy League school like Harvard, the benefits of the network and connections that you would make there could definitely outweigh that total cost of debt. So again, keep that in mind. But as always, the goal is to graduate with as little debt as possible. Okay, since we are talking about an HBCU tour as well, keep in mind that the cost and benefit of attending an HBCU may have nothing to do with your future professional income level. So again, when you think of an HBU, that cost and benefits definitely includes a sense of identity, a sense of community, a sense of self-awareness, a sense of community awareness, and a lot of other intangibles that may be difficult to impossible to get at a predominantly white institution. So realize again that cost and benefits of attending an HBCU as an African American student, there's definitely a factor in that. Having said that, there is probably a great cost and benefit for an Anglo student who chose to attend a historically black college or university as well. All right, so as we embark on this tour, or if you're just evaluating a college that maybe we're not going to as well, I think there's definitely some key questions. There's some key things to think about, to consider and evaluate when you're going to a college. It's very easy to get caught up in the video of a halftime show. It's easy to get caught up in great pictures on brochures and sales pitches that universities and college give to you. But the bottom line is some students don't have the experience they thought they were going to get based on those brochures, videos, and things that they've been watched and heard from admissions counselors. So some things to consider as you're looking at different colleges. Can I get admitted here? So again, that's the first question. Looking at the academics that you had in high school, looking at your ACT, SAT scores. Is it a school that you can get admitted to? Obviously, that's the first thing to consider. If you can't get admitted there, you can scratch it off the list. Then, can I get the degree I want? So oftentimes students will change their major. I think the average is 2.5 times per student. So also look at secondary degree programs. So right now, if you know you want to be a journalist, or you know you want to be in medical technology, look at that degree program, but also look at the degrees overall at that school. Like if you've got a secondary degree in mind, does that school have that degree as well? So again, can I get the degree I want, and what are the other options? The other thing, can I be successful at this school? What are their tutoring resources? What are their career services resources? Again, the help that they assist you in getting a job, looking for a job, developing interview skills when you're a junior, senior. What about their housing environment? What do the residence halls look like? Are the residence halls places where it looks like, okay, people just sleep here? Or there are places with, computer centers and resources where you can do learning and things that you need to do in the residence halls as well. Can I get a network here professionally and academically? So even when you're going into college as a freshman, eventually you're going to need a professor or two to write letters of recommendation. If you're thinking about grad school now, again, for you doctors, future lawyers, you're going to need academic references as well, but also professional network. Again, I tell students I've met with students in the past that want to be in the music industry. So when they're evaluating a school or looking at where they would want to transfer to finish their degree to be in the music industry, it's probably Atlanta, New York, LA, or Nashville, Tennessee. So that's where you're going to get that professional music network that you definitely need if you want a career, in the entertainment industry. So again, if you're interested in government, politics, law, the Washington, D.C. area is a fantastic place to have those connections. If you're interested in agribusiness, maybe a rural school would have those better connections for you. So again, can I get that professional network at the school that I'm looking at professionally and academically? Can I get my social needs met here? Typically, I think at HBCUs, from my perception, is that social needs is not really an issue. Sometimes it can be a problem that interferes with academics. But again, that's another thing to evaluate. Can I get my social needs met here? But also, could those social needs get in the way of my academics as well? So think about that too. And then finally, an aspect that students don't think about as well is, can I get my spiritual needs met here? So is there, a church, a congregation, if you see yourself as a spiritual person and you need the environment to be spiritual, can those needs be met at that location? So realize too, you're evaluating the school, but you're also evaluating the community that you're going to move to. I mean, you're going to be living in that community for 4 years. So is that a community that you can live and thrive in? Also, can I work in a job or internship in my future career here? So again, if you're in an urban area, that's probably going to be easier than if you choose a rural college. But again, can you work in a job or internship that leads you to your future career in that location? So again, and I know I alluded to this earlier, can I live in this town or city for 4 or 5 years? Am I okay with the physical distance from family and friends, etc.? If you're going from Arizona and you're thinking about going to college on the East Coast, I mean, honestly, about every student deals with some level of homesickness. Oftentimes, students can push through that after they get through that first semester, get home for Thanksgiving or Christmas. It's usually fine after that. But there are some situations where that physical distance becomes a detriment. So again, think about that. And are you okay with being that far away from family, friends, and etc.? And then what will my financial situation be after I graduate from here? Again, this goes back to that cost of college that I talked about earlier, is, looking at the cost of college, the debt, the cost benefits, future career direction, and things like that. So that's kind of that big picture of putting it all together. And then the other question to think about is, who do I want to be after I graduate? And then can I make that happen at this college or university? So again, that's putting all the things up together in this presentation, that 4-year pre-professional experience, the cost benefits of college, your career, your major direction, extracurricular activities. Can I make that happen at college or university X? And that's what it all boils down to. All right, so if you're going on the tour, I will be on the tour as well as all your other chaperones. We all have different levels of experience. We all have different college experiences. So as you have questions, if there's anything this presentation brought up, please have those discussions with your chaperones. Again, don't just listen to me, listen to everybody. Get those experiences, learn from your chaperone, learn from other chaperones. We're all here on this tour because we want you to be successful. We want you to make the right college choice, and we want you to just really experience, the full depth and breadth of this tour. So as you have questions and you want to have discussions, let us know. They'll have plenty of time to do that on the buses, at the hotel, or even if we're touring a campus and you've got a question that we can help you with. So looking forward to the tour. Glad you tuned into this presentation, and take care and have a great week.